Hi, my name is Gloria Cannon. I'm the General Manager and Managing Principal of California for Lateral. Today, I'm joined by my colleague, Abby Gordon, who's also a principal with Lateral and the co-manager of the Northeast region and a former Cleary Gottlieb corporate associate. Today, she's here to give us an overview of the lateral hiring market for New York associates. So Abby, we're now a month into 2023, and at this point each year, we've usually seen a lot of post-bonus lateral movement, as well as firms opening up many new lateral roles. Is that still the case for this year?
So thank you, Gloria. The answer is yes and no. So far, we've mostly seen a continuation of the market we saw in Q4 of 2022. Q4 is really when we started to see the slowdown after the real boom in hiring in 2021 and early 2022. We knew that hiring boom was not going to last forever. So it was really inevitable that things would slow down a little bit. So the key takeaway we're hearing from our clients right now is deliberate. They're being very deliberate in their hiring decisions and their hiring practices. So, for example, they may have had several hires in one practice area at a time back in 2021, early 2022, but now we're seeing firms hold out to hire one or two quality candidates. We're seeing that remote work is much harder to come by. We are seeing that there's much less wiggle room for junior associates or associates trying to retool into a different practice area. We're also seeing the big signing bonuses as a thing of the past. So the process is taking longer. Again, clients are being more deliberate about their hiring, but there is still hiring going on. They're just waiting to make sure they get the candidate that is the perfect fit.
Speaking of fit, where exactly is that fit these days? Is corporate lateral hiring dead, as we seem to read about on a daily basis?
No, corporate hiring is not dead. We hear a lot about capital markets and M&A, and sure, there's been a bit of a slowdown in those areas, which again is inevitable given what's happening with the volatility in the stock market, with interest rates. But we are still seeing hiring in those areas. In fact, if you look at the statistics, there's still roughly the same number of openings, at least for mid-level and senior candidates in M&A and capital markets as there were a year ago. The difference, again, is that clients are holding out for the perfect candidates. There are what we call soft searches out there. So the openings might just not be as urgent as they have been in the past, and hence not quite as much hiring, even if we're seeing just as many firms theoretically looking for those candidates. We're seeing a lot more need for mid-level to senior candidates in M&A and in capital markets, those who can hit the ground running with minimal training. And we're also seeing a lot of growth, at least steady growth, in some of the other corporate practices that you don't always hear as much about. Private funds, finance, real estate finance. We're seeing project finance openings. So we are seeing steady growth. Again, it's just not quite the hiring boom that we had in 2021. Basically, we're back to 2019 standards.
Great. That's really reassuring to hear, given all the doom and gloom it seems we keep hearing about in corporate work and big law lately. So what are you seeing beyond corporate and transactional practices today?
Beyond corporate and transactional practices, we're certainly seeing that uptick in bankruptcy that everyone expected back at the beginning of the pandemic. No one expected the corporate boom that we did end up seeing. Bankruptcy with, for example, Paul Hastings recently hired most of Stroke's bankruptcy restructuring team in New York. We're hearing about bankruptcies like Party City and an expected filing by Bed Bath & Beyond. I imagine that we will see an uptick in hiring given those new matters coming in. So bankruptcy is certainly moving along. Litigation, we're seeing actually more openings for litigators than we had a year ago. Slightly more hiring in that area. So there are certainly a number of practice areas that are busy right now.
Okay, great. So do you have any final thoughts or advice for associates today in the New York market?
My best advice is keep apprised of what's going on in the market and don't panic. We don't know for sure if there's going to be a recession. People are talking about a recession, but we don't know. And all the indicators right now show that hiring is still fairly healthy. Candidates have to keep in mind that the firms are going to be deliberate about their hiring processes. But remember that New York firms are very well diversified. We saw layoffs primarily in the very tech-heavy practice areas, but New York firms have a lot more going on than just the tech practices. Again, be deliberate about your practice as well. Make sure you're getting the hours, make sure you're getting the substantive work that you want to be getting. Make sure that you're spending time getting to know your coworkers and your mentors after so much time working remotely. Most firms are back in the office now 3 days a week. So take advantage of that and really, really get to know people. And of course, if you're looking to make a move, be deliberate about that process as well. You don't have to make a move right away, but start getting your materials in order. Talk with your trusted recruiter. And of course, feel free to reach out to me or any of my colleagues at Lateral Link if you'd like to discuss current opportunities or just discuss the market further.
Great. Thank you so much, Abby, for joining us again and discussing what's happening today in the New York lateral market. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.